like that. And so if I am so focused on staying on the line, I can't fulfill my assignment. But my God is big enough to handle my fault, my strokes, screw-ups, my mess-ups, because he's already prepared for what I might do. He knows what I'm going to do before I do it, and he already made preparation for me before I get there. What follows darkness is light. That darkness is the indicator that light is getting ready to shine. So there it is in Genesis, when darkness was upon the face of the deep, and God in the spirit form moved upon the face of the waters, and then God said, let there be. Because darkness precedes the light. Are you understanding what I'm saying? But he needs the darkness there so that God can move upon the face of the deep, so that the shift can take place. Let's look at your neighbor and tell your neighbor that shift take place in the darkness. Y'all didn't hear what I just said. Everybody's not going to see the shift that's happening. They see the chaos, but they don't see the shift. They see all the craziness going on in your life, but they don't understand that underneath the darkness, God is moving in secret. He's moving in quiet. He's moving in the hidden places. He's moving in the cracks and the corners and the crevices. He's moving in places that you cannot see. And when the light comes, they gonna see a new order. But untying. And so the universe then has no choice. First attribute of the secret place. The secret place is a place of revelation. It makes you free because it awakens you and makes you consciously aware that everything that you thought was holding you is an illusion. And good evening, everyone. Good evening. Great Saturday to all of you. Oh, what a day, what a day, what a wonderful, outstanding, and just absolutely splendid day it has been. I am so glad that you have decided to join me this evening, even though there only seems to be a few of you here, but I'm going to give it a little time because I know we're a little late getting on, and so others may be late jumping on. We're going to give it a little time and wait for some others to come in, but I'm excited to be able to continue our conversation about the four agreements and deal with now what is the third agreement that I think is going to be really profound, and it's something that again is challenging for each of us as human beings. I see you. I see all of you coming on. Hey, Dee Dee. Hey, Yvette. Hey, Theresa. Hey, Beverly. That's about all of you right there. But we're going to give it a little more time. Each of these agreements are challenging. They absolutely are. But they are also designed to enhance our life, to improve us, to help us to evolve and grow, and to fully become all that we desire to become. Hey, Kiwi, I see you. So glad that you've come on. Others of you, as you're jumping on, please just say hi, hello, or something, just to let us know that you're out there and that you are listening with us. Those of you who are on with us right now, take a moment, if you will, please, and share this broadcast right now live. They used to have there's a little button for watch parties. I think they did away with that. But go ahead and share it live on your page, please, so that those who follow you can see the broadcast and decide maybe they'll tune in and join us in the conversation. And then take a moment and tag as many people as come to mind. Just tag them in the comments so that they'll be alerted that we're on the air, and they'll come over and join the conversation. And if there are people missing in the group that are normally here, then go ahead and tag them as well. See what's going on with them. Maybe they didn't get the notification. I'm sure I sent it out. Maybe they didn't get the notification. I've been told that some of you have been delayed in getting the notifications at times. I'm not exactly sure what's causing that, but tag them and invite them to come and be a part of this conversation. Hello, Jamie. I see you. Hey, Gloria. Okay, Gloria and Jamie are together watching, mother and daughter. So good to have you on tonight. So good to have you with us in this conscious conversation. All right, so we're going to pick up where we left off. We've been talking about the four agreements. Okay, we've been talking about these four agreements. Be impeccable with your words. Don't take anything personally. And now tonight, the third agreement is don't make assumptions. Now, I want to pause here for just a second, because before I jump into this third agreement tonight, and we're going to get into it, and hopefully we'll wrap this up on tomorrow morning in our morning session at 9 a.m. With the fourth agreement, and we'll tie all of the pieces together then. But I want to go back or backtrack for just a second about that second agreement. That one presented a real challenge for many people who were listening. And there were some concerns about, I don't know if I can agree with that or align myself with that, because I'm not going to let people just talk to me any kind of way. And I'm not going to let them disrespect me and think that they can get away with it. Or I'm not going to let people do this, that, or the other. Please understand, I am not negating the challenge of the agreement and recalibrating our mindset to not always lash out, react, and respond when someone does something that maybe they have ill intention for. But what the agreement is focused on is your personal power. As I said on the other night when we were talking about it, when you allow the behavior, the words, the thoughts, or the actions of another person to trigger a response within you, you are giving away your power. When they can create an atmosphere, a circumstance, or a situation that triggers you to anger, to maliciousness, to that whole fight mechanism kicks in, and you're ready to be defensive, then you are giving away your power to that other individual. Please understand that their action, their behavior has nothing to do with you. Even though they may be directing it toward you, it's coming from their own world, their own illusion, their own dream, their own mind, their conscious mind. And it speaks more about what's going on inside of them than it has to do with you. Tonight I'm wearing a black turtleneck. This turtleneck is black. Now, you can walk up and say, well, why are you wearing that old ugly blue turtleneck? I would be silly if I got there and began to respond or react and get angry because, number one, you called it ugly, and number two, you mislabeled it and called it blue. Your calling this turtleneck blue does not change the color of the turtleneck. Your calling it ugly does not determine how it looks. It only determines how you perceive it. You perceive it as being blue. You perceive it as being ugly. That speaks about you. It does not speak to the reality of the shirt's color or the shirt's beauty. So if someone is calling you dumb or stupid or slow or crazy or ugly, they are speaking in terms of their own conscious perception. It may be rooted in jealousy, malice, anger, bitterness. It may be rooted in whatever it is rooted in. It comes from their own personal preference, personal perception, personal perspective. So why in the world would I allow that to trigger me to begin to respond in kind and give them some get back because of what they said? When I do so, I have been drawn into their world, drawn into their perception, and I now become an actor in their movie. I have given away my power. I have given away my power in my efforts to protect what I think is my dignity, my self-worth, my self-esteem. I have really just given it away and lowered it because I am now responding to something that I am consciously aware isn't true, number one, and number two, has nothing to do with me, has everything to do with the person that it's coming from. So I have two choices. I can be moved with compassion concerning their hurt, their pain, and where that kind of maliciousness is coming from, or I can choose to remove myself from the situation, from the relationship, from the encounter, from the environment, because it doesn't serve me. Either one of those allows me to retain my power, my dignity, my respect, my esteem. Are you understanding? When I react and respond, I'm being triggered because of an insecurity within my own self. The only reason I would have to be triggered is if somewhere deep within the crevices of my own soul, I thought that maybe what they said might be true. Maybe there's some truth to the accusation. Maybe there's some truth to their perception. If I am absolutely convinced that there isn't, then there's absolutely no reason for me to respond by being defensive, unless I take it personally. When you take things personally, you internalize an external influence, an external force, an external power. You are drinking the poison that's being released from another person. And when you become angry, malicious, bitter, hold a grudge, you get furious and want to strike out, then all you have allowed is that poison now to begin to saturate and inundate your being and cause you to respond in kind. Now you have stepped away from being who you really are, your authentic self, and you have become an actor, a character in a movie that you're not the director of and you didn't write the script. You have given away your power. Are you understanding? And I know, please understand, I know that it is a challenge. It is a challenge we are all having to fight and deal with at varying levels, because I still struggle with it. We all do. But to be consciously aware of it is half the battle. You have one half the battle when you are consciously aware of it, and now you can be intentional and deliberate about changing and shifting your mindset, thereby changing your responses. Okay? It is so important that you don't look at what I'm saying to you in a vacuum. This is not, and again, let me say this also. Let me go ahead and point this out as well. I understand that everybody will not agree with what I'm saying or agree with what's written in the book. That's fine. If it doesn't resonate with you, you don't have to accept it. Eat the fish, spit out the bones. If it doesn't resonate with you as true, if it is not something you're willing to embrace, then you have every right to reject it and continue on in the way that you have, and whatever you feel like best serves you and also helps you to display and be your highest version of yourself. I have a difficult time, though, trying to understand how the highest version of myself can be going tit for tat with someone who is intentionally trying to say things to provoke me to anger. When I give in, then they've won. When I give in, they've won. They have won. They may not win the argument, but they won because they got you to argue. They may not win the fight, but they've won because they got you to fight. And none of that, none of it, the anger, the fighting, the arguing, does not serve your highest good. It is not the highest version of yourself. And the goal here is to be the highest, best version of ourselves. That's the goal. That is the goal. We are here to empower you on your journey towards spiritual wholeness, that is spiritual maturity, your evolutionary journey that you are making to being your authentic spiritual divine self. And so no, it's not easy. And yes, it will challenge your thought process, your behavior, what's comfortable. It will absolutely challenge that. And then you get to decide whether you're going to face that challenge or you're going to make an excuse for not facing that challenge. I choose to face every challenge because I know that I am well able to overcome, to conquer, and to be. I absolutely believe it. And I believe it about you too. Now, it doesn't matter if I believe it if you don't, but I can believe it about you, but if you don't believe it about you, then it's not going to do you any good. But I'm just telling you as a vote of confidence, just to boost you, I believe in you. I believe you have the capacity within you to evolve to that place, to stop giving away your power by taking everything personally, by allowing those things to be internalized. Just because someone says it, someone does it, someone behaves or misbehaves, or chooses not to do a certain thing or doesn't say certain things, don't take it personally. It does not define who you are. You are defined by your own conscious concept of yourself. Okay? Are you understanding what I'm saying? Don't take it personally. Because if you take it personally, if you internalize it, then you start finding yourself acting and behaving in alignment with whatever the particular opinion, accusation, or indictment might be. Don't take anything personally. Even if they intended to be personal, their intention does not determine your action. Somebody else's intention does not determine your action. Okay? All right. So I just wanted to drop a pin there because I knew that was something that was really challenging a number of people, and people were having difficulties with that. And if you still are, then please feel free to comment, ask questions. Let's have the conversation. That's the reason that we're here, to have a robust, open, honest conversation with each other as we are all growing, progressing, and evolving. I absolutely understand the challenges behind that agreement. Agree. Make the agreement with your own soul, with yourself, with your divinity, that I will be impeccable with my words and I will not take anything personally. I'm going to live in the reality of my own creation. I refuse to be an actor in somebody else's play or somebody else's movie. I'm writing the script for my own life, and I will only repeat and speak the dialogue that I write. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Yes? I hope you are. Okay, so let's get to this third agreement. Okay? The third agreement is don't make assumptions. Don't make assumptions. I'm going to start out by just reading what he wrote, the author writes at the beginning of the 4th chapter and this third agreement. He says, the third agreement is don't make assumptions. We have the tendency to make assumptions about everything. The problem with making assumptions is that we believe they are true. We believe our assumptions are true. We could swear that they're real. We make assumptions about what others are doing, what others are thinking. We make assumptions about what their intentions were, and then we take it personally, and then we blame them and react by sending emotional poison out with our word. That is why whenever we make assumptions, we are asking for problems. We make an assumption, we misunderstand, we take it personally, And then we end up creating a whole big drama for nothing. I want you to listen to what he just said. I want you to hear that. I want to read another part of that again. Let's go back and dissect and unpack that for a second. We have a tendency to make assumptions about everything. That is a part of our domestication. It's a part of our programming. It's a part of those entrenched behaviors that we have been taught from our infancy all the way up to our adulthood. We have been taught to just make assumptions. We assume what people say are saying. Even when they say one thing, we assume that they mean something else. That are you hearing what I'm saying? We make assumptions about what people are saying. We make assumptions about what they're doing. We make assumptions about how they're feeling. Rather than ask questions, rather than be clear, rather than accepting the supposing the impeccability of the word of the person that's speaking. That is, they are saying what they mean and meaning what they say. We fall into the behavior of assuming that even though they said this, they actually meant this. Or because they act this way, then we assume they feel this way. Well, they must feel, or they must think, or they must believe, or they must. How many times have you caught yourself saying, well, what they really saying is, or what they really think is, or they must really feel like, or how many times in a conversation have you said to someone, so you think such, or so you really feel like X, Y, Z. And they're saying to you, no, that's not what I said. Oh, yeah, well, it ain't what you said, but I understand what you really mean. I never said that. Oh, yeah, you didn't say it, but your actions said, I know that's how you feel. I know what's in your heart. How do you know? You're making an assumption. And when you make assumptions, you begin to create a reality that doesn't exist. You create an illusion, a delusion. Or the old saying is, when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. Okay? You are making a donkey out of yourself. You are creating an illusion, a world, an imaginary fantasy that doesn't exist. Are you hearing what I'm saying? And so he says, don't make assumptions. He gives a very good example of this in the very next paragraph, two paragraphs now. He says, no, it's not 2 paragraphs down. It's 4 paragraphs down. He says, for an example, you are walking in the mall and you see a person you like. That person turns to you and smiles and they walk away. You can make a lot of assumptions just because of this one experience. With these assumptions, you can create a whole fantasy. And you really want to believe the fantasy and make it real. A whole dream begins to form just from your assumptions. And you can believe, oh, well, this person really likes me. In your mind, a whole relationship begins to form from that, whether it's a friendship, romantic relationship, whatever. But a whole connection begins to form from that. Maybe you even fantasize that you're in a relationship or you get married in this fantasy land. But the fantasy is in your own mind, in your personal dream. Making assumptions create a reality that doesn't exist. Okay? Kiwi, all right, I'm going to put this up. Hold on. She says, I'm trying to figure out how like-minded we all are. Because how can you be so exponentially accurate on these points that I believe a large majority, if not all of us, think? Because it is human behavior. It is common human behavior. We make these assumptions all the time. Here's another good example. A man can say to you in person, on social media, through a text or tweet or whatever, oh, you are beautiful. You're gorgeous. And the assumptions begin. And sometimes they come out in your responses. I'm not interested. I don't like you. I got a man, or I got a woman, or I'm already taken. He didn't say anything about that. All they said was, you're beautiful. Or you start, you understand? You start to assume they like you, they want you, they're flirting with you. And so you start to have these fantasies and these ideas about them and you and the connection and the bond. And before you know it, if you keep thinking about it, you start to create a whole world, a whole fantasy land about what could happen and what's going to happen, what the possibilities are, what the outcome's going to be, all from just one simple compliment. And rather than just say thank you and be done with it and move on, you dwell on it and you begin to imply or assume a meaning behind the compliment, far beyond what the person said. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Far beyond what the person actually said. Okay? You prepare a meal and you set it before someone, and maybe it's okra and peas and rice and chicken, and they try the okra and it's like, oh, I don't like this. Oh, you trying to say I can't cook? That's not what they said. You just jumped to a conclusion and made an assumption. Maybe they don't like okra. Maybe they were just going to try it to see if your okra would cause them to like it. But from the moment they said, this doesn't taste good, you make the assumption that, oh, so you're saying I can't cook. Oh, you talking about me. Oh, you take it personally, and then you create this whole scenario within your mind. Well, you ain't got to worry about me ever cooking for you again. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Or how many times have you been around people and they were whispering and you assume because they happen to look over at you that they're talking about you? Oh, y'all talking about me? If you got something to say to me, say it out loud. Who said they were talking about you? Why are you making this assumption? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Yes. And Diana says, and when it doesn't happen, we're ready to crucify them because we feel like they've taken, because we feel taken, but we were taken by our own minds. Good Lord have mercy. We feel taken, but we were taken by our own mind. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Yeah, she said, and never, I will say it in a heartbeat. You ain't got to ever worry about me no more. See? And that's what I'm saying. You're making an assumption. And when you make those assumptions, you are creating a fantasy world. You are creating an alternate reality that is only real for you. And when you create that reality, you've taken it personally, you internalize it, and so now it begins to inform your words, and you respond and react in kind, not based upon what is, but based upon what you assumed. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Are you hearing what I'm saying? Based upon an assumption. And so now here you are out here in fantasy land, and because they don't join you in your fantasy world, then you get angry at them as if they are supposed to know what you are thinking. He writes, I'm going to read this next paragraph. It is always better to ask questions than to make assumptions, because assumptions set us up for suffering. Let me say that again. It is always better to ask questions than to make an assumption, because assumptions set us up for suffering. I have a model that I live by. Ask questions, get answers, and then question the answers, because that's how you evolve and grow. Ask the questions. I was saying to someone earlier today, I was in a conversation with someone, and I said, well, I'm the type of person that I'm always going to be completely open, honest, and upfront with you. You don't have to guess where I'm coming from. You don't have to try and figure out what I mean, because I say what I mean, and I mean exactly what I say 100% of the time. I don't have to come back and say, well, I know I said that, but that's not, I really didn't mean it. Please forgive me. I didn't mean to say that. That's not how I really feel. If I say it, you can put your foot on it, because I have taken the time to think about what I'm going to say, and I'm a wordsmith. I'm very deliberate and intentional about the words that I allow to come out of my mouth. Okay? And what is most frustrating for me, there's the taking things personally thing, I got to get over that, is when I will say one thing and then the person I'm talking to assumes something else, and I'd have to say, is that what I said? No, what did I say? Well, you said, well, that's exactly what I meant. Don't make assumptions about what I mean when I'm saying what I mean. Don't add something to it. Don't imply that, come up with some other implication. I said what I meant, and I meant what I said. I'm impeccable with my word. Are you understanding what I'm saying? And I don't make assumptions about what others are thinking and feeling. I ask questions ad nauseum. Sometimes I get on Dee Dee's nerve. That's because I ask so many questions. I want to talk about everything. I don't want things to be left hanging or just out there, and I don't want to have to make an assumption. I want to have the conversation, and I want to ask questions. I want to hear straightforward answers, because when you get that, then there is no confusion. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Ask questions. He's like, so true. Don't be done. Don't do that. But I'm serious. It's like that way there is no room for assumptions. Okay? Yvette says, I've always disagreed. I have to disagree. My family says stuff all the time. I know they love me, but they'll say it. See? I'm not talking about joking or kidding. Now, we joke and kid with each other, and, and play the Joneses, and, your mama's so dumb, and your mama's so fat, and all that kind of stuff. But I ain't talking about that kind of thing. Diana says, and we let these things control our lives. Everything we do is centered around that. Exactly. You start to create this fantasy, and before you know it, you start living your life according to the fantasy and not according to truth, because you just made an assumption. Now, again, I'm not talking about, joking. Everybody does those kind of things, they're jokers. Me and Diana joke back and forth with each other all the time. She called me an old man. I don't know if she really think I'm old or not. I don't believe she does. But okay. And we just joking back and forth. Okay. All right. That's not what I'm talking about. But I'm talking about in a real conversation, be impeccable. Don't say it if you don't mean it. And don't make assumptions because someone said something that they mean something else. Or that because they didn't say something, then they feel a certain way. Kiwi says, with these last 2 points, I've been feeling like if I abide by these codes, I lose my humanness. And then I get confused and say, why would you want to be angry and aggravated, etc.? For example, it feels good to let it out. Allow yourself to be angry because you are human, so don't suppress it, but process it. Okay, that's an excellent point. It can almost seem like it contradicts each other. Allowing yourself to feel your feelings, the whole point behind allowing yourself to feel your feelings is so you can take note of what you're feeling and why you're feeling it, so that you can fix whatever it is, if it needs to be fixed, that's causing you to feel it. If you are feeling angry, feeling resentful, feeling upset, then the point of allowing yourself to feel the feeling, to process that feeling, is to also look at what is the root cause of it. Not looking external, because that's easy. Oh, it's because they did this, they said this. But why did what they said and what they did hurt you? Why did it anger you? Why did it upset you? Now you have to look internal. Now you have to start uncovering those roots. And the whole point of feeling your feelings is so you can uncover them and then eliminate those things so that no one has the ability to punch that sore spot again. Does that make sense? Are you understanding what I'm saying, Kiwi? Okay? And that does not remove your humanity. It actually enhances your humanity. Because to be human is to be a divine expression of an experience of God in the earth. Good. I see you, Kiwi. Good. See, I told y'all that always called me old man. See? Okay. So yes, I by no means don't suppress, because it's going to come out one way or the other. But make note of where it's emanating from. What's the origin story of those feelings? Whether it's anger or maliciousness, or if it's lust or desire or whatever it might be. What is the root of it? Where does it come from? Is it authentically you? Or is it the result of an echo or something else that you have internalized and taken personally and now set up a defense for? Okay? Let me give you another scenario, because how all of these things tie in together. So you have entered into this relationship and everything is wonderful, lovey-dovey, beautiful, gravy train with biscuit wheels and, strawberries and ice cream. And it's just absolutely Sunday. Okay? Then things shift, as they ultimately and always do, because you have two individuals who came together and entered into a covenant relationship, whether it was romantic, friendship, whatever, at one point of their life. But each of them are still growing, still evolving, still changing. And we have the tendency to want to think that as we evolve and change, nothing in the relationship will change. But you're not the same persons that you were when the relationship started. I don't care what you say. Oh, I'm still the same. No, you're not. You are. It's impossible. It's inevitable. Change is inevitable. We all change and evolve and grow and expand and become. So you are changing. And so to expect for things to remain as they were when you first met is a crazy assumption. But when things begin to change, and maybe they change differently from what you expect, you begin to make the assumption, well, they must not love me anymore. They don't care about me anymore. They don't like me anymore. Because they used to do this, but now they don't do it anymore. And they used to treat me this way, but now they don't do that anymore. And they used to say this, but now they don't say that anymore. And so it's easy for you to begin to create this whole melodrama within your own mind and assuming that this person's heart is no longer for you. And so you begin to impose your insecurity on the person. And then you decided that's how they feel. And so it's like, well, it's clear to me that you don't love me no more, that you don't care nothing about me anymore, that you don't feel this way about me anymore. So then, you may as well just come on out and say it and leave me alone and let's go our separate ways then. When in fact, they may not feel that way at all. And you'll never know if you don't have the conversation, if you don't ask questions. Assumptions will cause you to destroy relationships that could really be salvaged and grow and be beneficial. Because you don't understand the inevitability of change. They're changing, and so are you. And that's a good thing. That's a wonderful thing. Yes. Theresa says sometimes that's the only way you know you have changed. When a challenge comes. Yes. Please understand, ladies and gentlemen, change is inevitable. Change is happening every single second of every single moment of every single day. Change is happening. You are not the same person in the next second that you are in this second. In every moment, you are going through changes. You are evolving. It is a slow process, but it is happening. It's happening. Your hair is growing. Those of you who got hair, whether it's on your face, on your head, whatever, okay, it's growing right now. You don't see it growing. You don't even feel it growing, but it's growing. You're changing. Your blood cells are changing. Your height, your weight, everything about you is changing constantly. Shifting with the ebb and flow of the lived experience. And so to have the expectation that change somehow is exempt, your relationship is exempt from change. Your friendship is exempt from change is ridiculous and a recipe for disappointment, pain, frustration, and disaster. But don't assume, because of the inevitability of change, that the person no longer cares about you, no longer loves you, no longer wants to be around you, unless they say, I don't want to be around you. I don't love you. I don't want to have a relationship with you. I want to disconnect from you. Then, okay. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Yes? Is it getting through? Is this registering? I hope it is. Often we make assumptions that our partners know what we think and that we don't have to say what we want. We assume that they're going to do what we want because they know us so well. If they don't do as we assume they should or would, then we feel hurt and say, "You should have known. You know I like, you know I don't, you know I feel, you know I." But you're assuming. Keely says, "What about when you think it? They don't say it at the time, but it comes out later as true. Until they say it, you're making an assumption. And is it possible that you created the manifestation of that reality because of the power of your own thoughts, words, and deeds? That you created an atmosphere conducive to create a manifestation, a realization of what you have expected and believed? Faith is the substance, the substratum, the foundation, the support of our things hoped for, our expectation. And it provides infallible proof that what we expect exists. It's the evidence of things not seen. Are you understanding what I'm saying? It becomes like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And so you find yourself angry and upset with them for something that they're completely unaware of. But it's an assumption and a fantasy that you created within your own mind instead of having the conversation. Okay? Number two, let me stay right there on that as well, Keely. Okay? The second side of that, the other side of that is maybe the person's not ready to have the conversation. Maybe they don't have the courage or the gumption to be open and honest about it. That's not your issue. Your issue is deciding what best serves you. If they are saying that, no, I don't feel this way, this is not the case, da 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 da, but their actions don't seem to align with what they are saying, and you feel, your feeling, your sense, your intuitive nature is that this is not serving my highest good, then you have the responsibility to say, well, I know you don't feel this way. I know this is not what you said, but this is how I feel. And based on what I feel and what is best serving me, what is for my highest good, I have to make a choice for what best serves me. Okay? And that's why I just said that. She's like, people be lying though, and as you can tell, this really hits home for me. I know it's home for a lot of us, believe me. You're not the only one. Okay? Yeah. So it doesn't matter if they're lying. What's important is that you are honest with yourself first and then with them. And so then it's like, okay, well, I hear what you're saying. I accept what you're saying as your truth. However, for me, this is what I feel. And this is what is going on internally with me. And so this relationship as it stands no longer serves my highest good. It doesn't serve me. It does not bring out the best part of who I am. And so I'm choosing to remove myself. I'm going to say, then I'm the issues. since you don't have any. You understand what I'm saying? You don't have any control over anyone else's truth. You don't. And you can't assume what they're thinking, what they're feeling, what they believe. You can only go by what they say. And then decide for yourself if their actions and behaviors continue to serve you. If not, then you have the option to walk away. Okay? Or you have the option to stay and try and be the catalyst for change. Because there's the other side. Because there is a scriptural text that says in John, I think it's 1 John, we love him. It's talking about God there. Uses the male pronoun, but it's talking about God. So God is not male or female. But we love him because he first loved us. Now remember, love is all there is. Love is the most powerful force in the universe. And that statement is profound because it says that God, the lover, loved us, the lovee, even when we as the lovee did not love the lover. But the lover loved the lovee with such intensity and consistency that it transitioned and transformed the lovee to begin to love the lover. That's agape love. It's easy. It is easy, simple, easy peasy to love someone who you feel loves you back. But the true testament of unconditional love is the ability to be able to be consistent in loving someone when they don't appear to love you in return, to reciprocate that love. But love is a decision. It's a choice. It's something you have to decide to do and be every single day and every moment of the day. And it is an entity in and of itself. It does not have to be reciprocated in order for it to exist. In other words, you don't have to love me in order for me to love you. I know that runs counter to everything that our present culture and society believes. Because it's like, well, if you don't love me, then I don't love you either. You kill my dog, I'm going to kill your cat. You know, that whole tit for tat thing. Okay? But that's not biblical, it's not scriptural, it's not spiritual. Okay? Because the power, the intensity of love is transformative. And the real test and testament of love is its ability to be able to love without reciprocation until the object of the love is transformed and begins to love the lover back. God loved us. Lord have mercy. We love God because it first loved us. Didn't know what love was. Woo! Until we experience that unconditional, agape, supernatural, spiritual love. Every other expression of love, and that's what they are. All this other stuff that people call out, well, there are different types of love. No, there isn't. There's only one love, period. There are different expressions of love. familial love, eros love. Yeah, there are different expressions of love, but there's only one love. God is love. Love is God. So if there are different types of love, then there's got to be different types of God. And there isn't. There's just one God, expressed in multiple forms. Love can be expressed in different ways, a variety of ways, but it's still the same love, if it is love and not just infatuation. Woo! And love will do away with assumptions, or it assumes the best. It assumes the good. Yes. Oh my goodness. Are you hearing me? Yes. Love always has the highest expectation. Real love always looks for the good, the best, expects and believes the best. This stuff that we got floating around today, that's not real love. That's just emotions and feelings. Love is not a feeling. Love is a spirit, and love is a decision. It's a choice that you make every moment of every day in every circumstance. I choose love. Even when they are acting in ways that are contrary to love, I choose love. That's how you cannot take anything personally. When you choose love. You old bald head, ugly goose. Oh, yeah, okay. I choose love. And when I choose love, I don't need to be defensive because I know I'm not a bald headed, ugly goose. I don't need to defend that. Love allows me to be able to absorb your pain, your fear, your jealousy, your maliciousness, your anger, whatever it might be. Love covers a multitude of error, sin, mistaken identity. Love covers, it consumes, it absorbs all of that, and continues to be unchanged and unfazed. Huh? A lot of people don't understand that kind of love and can't understand God. Exactly. Exactly. Okay? That's real love. And when you walk in that kind of love, it eliminates the assuming the worst, assuming the bad, assuming all of these other kind of negative things. Are you understanding what I'm saying? Yeah, and Diana you made a good comment. I saw it earlier and I didn't get to put it up there. She says, now we end up planting seeds in the minds of others and they may not have even thought about that. That's exactly right. Because when you start to make assumptions, it would be one thing for you to make the assumption and internalize it and create your own reality and then let it stand there. But we don't do that even. We go and make the assumption, create this reality within our own mind, and then we feel the need to share our assumption with someone else. Child, let me tell you, this is what they think. This is what they feel. They think such. They feel like such. I know that such. And what they really meant was and now somebody else is infected with your poison. Woo! Are you hearing what I'm saying? You lose all impeccability of your word and you just start spreading the assumption and thereby spreading the poison. I'll give you a prime example of this whole debacle with Will Smith, Jada, and Chris Rock.
If you look through social media, you see 100 million trillion different assumptions about what Jada's feeling, what Jada thinks, about what her intentions were, about what Will's thinking, what Will's intentions were, what Will was doing, what his idea, what he's feeling, what Chris Rock is feeling, what he's thinking, what his intentions are, how it affects black people, how it affects the community, how white people are responding to it, what the academy is going to do, how it's going to affect the rest of the country. All these assumptions have come out of the one incident. Nobody's even looking at the incident anymore. They have just taken it and created their own reality. And what it is, ladies and gentlemen, they create a reality based upon their own personal view of themselves. They will not say that, but that's exactly what it is. It is an outpicturing of yourself. What you are really saying is, if it were me, I would feel this way. I think this way. I have this feeling. I respond this way. So I impose that assumption upon the others as I'm looking. And when in fact, unless you are Will, Jada, or Chris, you don't know what they're feeling, what they're thinking, what their motive, what their intent, nor should it matter to you. You weren't involved. He didn't smack you. Woo! Are you understanding? Making assumptions. Like you know Will and Jada and Chris Rock. You don't know those people. But you've drawn out this whole assumption. People have written whole theses, articles about the effect and the meaning and everything that, the results that are coming as a result of this particular event and how it's affect the black community and black men and black women and white people and just and it's like, where y'all get all this information from? Have you ever talked to these people? Do you know? No. Then what are you writing about? You are imposing your own assumption, superimposing it upon the situation. Yes, Diana. She says, sometimes we don't realize how our words change others' lives as well as our own life. Our words spread like a wildfire out of control. It is the truth. And so the author encourages us to not make assumptions. Real love is accepting people the way they are without trying to change them. Ooh. Whew. That one is really hard right there. Come on, take a nice deep breath and swallow hard. I'm going to say it again. Real, genuine, authentic, unconditional love is accepting a person right where they are without trying to change them. Because you can't. You don't get to change anybody but you. You do get to choose whether you're going to accept this person or not, allow them in your life or not, be a part of their life or not. But you don't get to choose who they're going to be, how they're going to be. You don't get to choose anybody else's behaviors, anybody else's thoughts, anybody else's feelings. You don't get to choose. And when you assume, you make an ass out of you and me. That's a fact. That's a fact. So don't make assumptions. Just don't. Don't. Catch yourself. Mid-assumption. Wait a minute. Hold on. I don't know that to be true. Let me stop assuming. It's ingrained in us, ladies and gentlemen. It's ingrained in us. And we have to unlearn that behavior. We have to. Because it will keep you boxed in. You will go into certain situations and circumstances with a preconceived notion. You had this experience with this individual, and now you've decided all people who look like this individual are just like him. So this man broke your heart, all men are dogs. This woman broke your heart, all women are no good. This white person did this, all white people are like this. This black person did this, all Negroes are just like this. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Come on. Come on. You had one experience, maybe two, maybe three, maybe 10, maybe 100. You know there are over 7 billion people in the world. Unless you've had 7 billion experiences, you can't say all. Diana says, you were passing out. Oh, this is like a form of control, because if they don't do like I think they should do, you cut loose. Cut loose is what they are going to be. Yeah. She says, cut loose is what they're going to be if they don't do like I think they should do. Exactly. She said, yep, I had an encounter with a girl named Nicole, and everybody who had Nicole in their name, I didn't like them. Just petty of me. I had to learn. Exactly. Exactly. You know? So Joshua broke your heart. Now any man named Joshua, they ain't no good. Or 5 men broke your heart. Now ain't none of these men no good. They ain't no good. Ain't none of them no good at all. You want to get married? Yeah, I want to get married. I'm waiting on God to send me my husband. But you just said all the men are no good. So what you waiting on? See how stupid you sound? And guess what? The power of your words. Remember, you are speaking that vibration into the atmosphere. Now the universe and nature has no choice but to bring you all the no good men that you declare are out there. And since that's your expectation, faith has to support your expectation and bring you the manifestation of what you expect. So you keep going from one bad relationship to another bad one, 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 and don't realize that you're the one creating it. Hello? Because every bad relationship that you've had, you chose it. Didn't nobody enforce it on you? Didn't nobody make you marry them, make you date them, make you fall in love with them, make you lay down with them? You chose it. Now your baby daddy sorry is no good nigga that ever lived that old child. He ain't. But you chose him. Lord, I let that word slip out. Please, Facebook, don't take me down. Don't take my video down, and don't put me in Facebook jail again. Lord have mercy, Jesus. I meant to say ninja. They gonna be coming for me, Lord. Oh, Lord. Yes. I says, waiting for God to build that perfect man for me. How crazy. There isn't one. If someone you dated under a certain zodiac sign, none of them, none of them understand that sign is no good. See, child, I'll never date a Cancer again. Let me tell you about those Aries. Oh, child, let me tell you. And so you talk a little bit, what could be good information, now you have twisted and distorted it because of your own pain. Woo! Almost like of everywhere you go, something stank. It's not the place, it's probably you. Yeah, we teach the tell folks, you probably smell your top lip. I know it, Dad. I know I'm a complete mess. I know. Oh, goodness. Why y'all didn't tell me I had gone so far over time? Man, I am like almost 20 minutes over time. Lord have mercy. We need to end this. We need to end this. Oh, let me read this last little piece. We done. Because, I'm way over time. But he says, the way to keep yourself from making assumptions is to ask questions. Make sure the communication is clear. If you don't understand, ask. Have the courage to ask questions until you are clear as you can be. Even then, do not assume you know all there is to know about a given situation. Once you hear the answer, you will not have to make assumptions because now you know the truth. Ask questions. Have the conversation. There is nothing wrong with having a conversation. Even if the answer is no or yeah, whatever the answer is, at least you had the conversation. He says, also find your voice to ask for what you want. Everybody has a right to tell you no or yes, but you always have the right to ask. Likewise, everybody has a right to ask you, and you have the right to say yes or no. But if you don't understand something, it is better for you to ask and be clear instead of making an assumption. The day you stop making assumptions, you will communicate clearly and cleanly, free of emotional baggage and poison. Without making assumptions, your word becomes impeccable. Are you hearing me? Ask. Stop being so scared to just ask questions. Don't be afraid of what you might hear or afraid of what the truth is. Ask. So you know, and everyone has the right to ask you, and you have the right to either say yes or no. And you have the right to ask anyone anything, and they have the right to either say yes or no. That's it. And if it's yes, don't take it personally. And if it's no, don't take it personally. Woo. Are y'all hearing me? Boy, this was good tonight. This was good tonight. I enjoyed this myself. I'm 20 minutes over time, but this was real well worth it. No apologies because it was fun and y'all didn't stop me. So it was a good conversation. All right, so we've covered 3 of the agreements. We will get to the 4th and final agreement tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. That's right, get your tail up out the bed or lay in the bed but get on the internet and on your laptop or your phone or whatever, your iPad, and watch with us No, get out the bed, because if you lay in the bed, you're going to fall asleep while we talking. But get up and join me tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Facebook Live, YouTube Live. We'll get to that fourth and final agreement, and then we'll tie all four of the agreements in together and bring this conversation to a conclusion. Okay? And Diana says that when I take a test, I don't like open-ended questions. I have to make up the ending, so I come up with my own assumption, which is bad. Exactly. Okay? You have an imagination, but don't use your imagination in making assumptions. That's a misuse of your imagination. You want to have your imagination to use that to create a reality that you want, not making an assumption. Okay? All right. Thank you guys for tuning in. I know that you enjoyed the conversation because we went on for so long, 22 minutes now, over the time that we were supposed to be on. Listen, I need for every one of you that's on here to contribute tonight. Give something, no matter what it is, whether it's $1, 35 cents, 10 cents, $10, $100, $1,000, or $50,000, $100,000, $1 million, or 1 cent, 1 penny, a nickel. But give something. Demonstrate your appreciation for what you have been receiving in these conversations. Show that you appreciate it and that you value it by your giving tonight. So take a moment right now. Do it before you put your phone down so you don't forget. And go ahead and either Zelle or use Cashapp and send a gift right this moment, right now, to demonstrate your appreciation. And I will thank you in advance for your generosity. Thank you for being so gracious, and thank you for your undying support for what we're doing with the Emerge movement. All right. Hope you enjoyed yourself. I look forward to seeing you all in the morning, 9 a.m. Please don't forget, join me here and invite some friends. Let's get these numbers up as high as we can get them up tomorrow morning. And I will see you then. Have a restful, peaceful, blissful night. And I will see you in the morning.